I'm Chef Nicky, and today I'm going to show you how to make fried green tomatoes. They're very simple and very delicious. You need a few ingredients. You need 2 tablespoons of really good olive oil. You need 2 tablespoons of melted butter, some sliced green tomatoes. Here I've got 1.5 teaspoons of salt and 1 teaspoon of fresh ground pepper that I'm adding to 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. You just mix it in. Then over here I've got 1 large egg that I've beaten just a little frothy. I've got 15 leaves, large leaves of fresh sage that I've chopped. Now it's important to use fresh sage. If you don't have fresh sage, don't use dried. It's not the same. Now I'm going to add the sage to 1/4 cup of cornmeal. And we're going to mix this right in. All right. Now to bread these, it's a very simple process. We're going to take the tomato and it's going to go into the flour. Now you see that I've cut the tomato only 1/4 inch thick. If you cut it much thicker, when it's done it gets kind of wet and it just doesn't have the great crunchy flavor, that texture that, you know, as a thinner one. Now you see that I didn't season the tomato, and I didn't do that for a reason, because if I put salt on the tomato, it's going to bring the moisture out of the tomato. So I just thought I'd just season the flour. Now I knock off the excess, and I'm going right into the egg. Now you see with the egg, it's a little bit frothy, so when I put the tomato in there, it covers it evenly. Now if I didn't beat it until it was frothy, you might have pockets where it doesn't get breaded properly. And then we're going right into the cornmeal mixture. Now I'm using utensils because otherwise you get wet egg and then flour and cornmeal on your fingers, and then you have clumps on your hands, and then it gets into your mix, and then your tomatoes get those clumps and they don't cook evenly. So this is what it looks like when it's done. If you've ever had sage cooked in butter until it's brown, oh, is that wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and bread up the rest of these, and then I'm going to show you how to cook them. Now, when you're making fried green tomatoes, it's very important to use an iron skillet. It's thick, it'll maintain the heat, and it'll cook evenly. Now you can see I have this one on low, and it's just getting pretty warm. So I'm going to add the oil first, the 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'm going to add the butter, the 2 tablespoons of melted butter. I'm going to stir that up in here just a little bit. And then we're going to add the tomatoes. When we add the tomatoes, I'm going to put them right in there. And after they're in, I'm going to turn up the heat to medium. And I'm going to let them brown on one side, and then I'm going to turn them over, and I'm going to let them brown on the other side. You don't want to get the skillet too hot to start with. So these are going to be perfect. Now while these are cooking, what I like to do, I like to serve my fried green tomatoes in a warm iron skillet. It's just a great presentation. And here I'm going to garnish them with some tomato leaves and some fresh sage. I'm sure you're going to love this recipe. And if you need a printed copy, go to theracingchef.com. Enjoy.